Welcome, everybody, to a special edition of Decoration Myths. We are piggybacking on the new product experience, and I am here with my friend Josh Ellsworth from STAHLS. I am Stephan from S&S Activewear, and we're going to look at some really cool decoration trends today. So, as you guys have been experiencing throughout the virtual experience, brands have really stepped up and they're on the cusp of retail trends. So we're getting products sooner now. So it's an amazing fashion experience. So we're really going to look at some trends that were already mentioned today, but we're going to look at some new print techniques to put on those, because a lot of these trends are prints, new tie-dyes, matching sets. We even have animal prints that are very popular. So I get to lean heavy on Josh in these episodes, which I am so lucky. So welcome, Josh, and thanks again for the time for doing this.
Awesome. Always appreciate you guys having me for the Decoration Myth series. And this is so exciting to be part of the virtual event and taking all the content from today on these trends and showing you really how to tie in decoration to let the product speak through. So I'm here in my STAHLS TV studio, where we have our heat press, our 16 by 20 Hotronix auto open clam. And we're actually going to be using that to decorate all of the products we're discussing today. And I know we've tried to jam a lot in because we want to show decoration and concepts across the board. So should we get started?
Absolutely. Yeah, let's get moving here.
All right, we'll bring you guys close in so you can get the best possible view. But Stephan, can you start by explaining this awesome piece from Independent?
Yeah, this is Independent Trading Company, and they brought us a new tie-dye series. So this is, like I said, there's matching sets, right? So you have a crew, you have hoodie, you have jogger, even shorts. And so as Independent does, they do a great job of taking a different approach. So it's a unique tie-dye, but it's still a pattern. So the feedback we've gotten from our customer base is, how do I decorate this, right? And how do I make an impact? Because, I want to lead with the great looks of this product. Maybe I go subtle on this one, right? So how do we do that?
Yeah, and so anytime you're decorating any pattern, there's some basic rules. Really, you'd like to either play to the pattern and do something tonal, which I'll show you in a moment. But I think it's better to have some kind of outline or some kind of color gap in between your design and the actual print itself. And so how we've interpreted that with this cool retail look is we have one of my favorite products, our textured twill. And you can see there's a lot of color around the design to really make the design pop and offset it nice from the pattern that we see. Now, not only are we creating a graphic that looks cool, it'd be kind of boring just to put this on the left chest. So we are going to show you something unique and how we can actually let the garment do the talking and really mimic a brand label, a woven label that would go down on the bottom hem of the garment. Sound good?
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I love those.
I've outfitted my heat press here with a heat press pillow. I love this because it's going to let me get really close down to the bottom of the hem, and all the seam structure is going to sink into the pillow. So I'll split this garment onto the press and just step in front for just a quick second. And basically, I'm only splitting it about halfway. And I have this seam structure completely down onto the pillow. And so when you either split that on or even just load the pillow and lay it in there, if you're doing a lot of high volume, it's ready to print. And so anytime I'm working with patterns, I want to protect my heat press. And so I use a cover sheet, and I'm going to go ahead and complete a preheat step. Now, there's a lot of pressure on here, so I'm going to reduce the pressure because of the thickness of the pillow is causing some pressure challenges there. We're going to preheat for just a few seconds. And I really love this application. Wow, I can feel a lot of moisture coming out of that fleece. That's why preheat is so important. I'm just going to take this print that you see here, and I'm going to place it all the way down on the edge of the garment, trying to match it perfectly there. And this is a sublimated twill, so I got to be careful that the ink doesn't want to come up to the top of my heater. And so I'll lay this down, cover the whole thing with a cover sheet, and then we're going to complete the full heat application.
Fantastic.
Now, Yeah, this textured twill takes about 20 seconds to heat apply with top heat only, which is what I'm using here today. And so that's going to heat all the way through the top of the transfer, get down to that adhesive, and it's going to create a really durable high-end result. And so we got about 3 seconds on the countdown here.
Very cool.
Automatically open. I'll remove the pieces, and it looks really sharp. So I'll hold it up from a distance, and then we can take a close look. So you see the just understated branding there?
That is great.
And we've fit that.
This is such a cool experience because it elevates the piece. I mean, it puts it right there in, the retail world. So you're leading with the pattern. It's a fantastic product. And then you just have this subtle branding.
Yeah. So that's quick.
Yeah.
That's easy. And let me show you the matching set, because you mentioned sets, and we've done a different interpretation here. So what is this style, the jogger?
Yeah, that's the jogger that correlates. Yes.
Okay, perfect. And so here we've done a tonal effect, right? So we have the complete tone on tone printing. And so it's just understated. We did the Apple design, and this one just says New York. And we've actually used a product called soft foam. And so it has some texture to it, but it's really designed to be subtle. And so it pairs nice, and it's not kind of jumping and contrasting with you. We just do this tonal effect. So really quick, really easy to decorate this pant leg as well on the same heat press.
Nice. So we have two great options there. I mean, to put on tie-dye product. So.
Yeah, and anytime you're decorating with patterns, I know you guys sent me another style of cap. I think it's just about going simple with the decoration. So I love this and doing a leather patch on this as well.
It's such fun. Yeah, so that's a bunch of beer and beer mugs, and you got a nice brewery. Now, is that like a faux leather? Is that
yes,
leather?
you can do a faux leather. I've actually chosen to do a genuine leather on this one, so you really get the thickness and the dimension. But yeah, you have the beer and the hops here, and so it's perfect match for a brewery or a restaurant design. And so this leather patch, we've shown it in a lot of the videos, can be decorated with a hat press that heats from top and bottom. So no sewing required at all. It can all be heat pressed.
Yeah, the 360 IQ.
360 IQ, you got it. You got it. Everybody needs to have at least one, maybe two.
Absolutely.
All right. And then, yeah. And so as we're thinking about decoration trends, you guys sent me a lot of great pieces, and it was really tough to select which pieces to feature in this video. And so I pre-decorated some of the pieces so we could get more in. And there was another take on decorating fleece that I wanted to hit really quickly. And so we had this Bella Canvas fleece set, and I'll pull it up in front of and you guys had this really cool concept of decorating with even a multicolor logo, right? And so being able to just print and do different print locations, this is actually a transfer that's just heat applied that blends right into the fabric. It's called Ultra Color Max is the name of it. And we're going to press that here in a bit. It's actually a new technology out that's called a direct-to-film transfer.
Oh,
so I'm
yes,
really
excited. You mentioned that. I'm excited to hear about that.
Yeah, we just launched it on November 1st. So as everybody's enjoying this content, you can check out Ultra Color Max. But this is another example of how we decorate that fleece set. And this is, again, we're getting a lot of dimension and texture out of this. This is actually a printable soft foam. And so not only can you do soft foam in basic colors for the joggers we showed you earlier, but you can do digital logos, full color soft foam to get a lot of rise out of your graphic.
That's great. Well, and I love the color too. So you can get that all in one transfer and put that down.
Yeah, the digital transfers that are out on the market today, you have dimensional ones, you have really soft, stretchy ones. And so when we think of color in a logo, we don't have to be limited anymore. We can bring a customer's logo and the design and our idea to life.
That's great. Now, real quick, going back to the pants, you would use that same equipment behind you?
Yeah. Actually, on the either joggers would be just fine. There's a couple different ways you can go about it. I really like if your transfer can be applied with a pillow. So as long as it's a light or medium pressure on your transfer application, you can absolutely use a pillow. The only thing you can't use a pillow on is heavy pressure. And so there's a different way to do that. But with light to medium pressure applications, which is everything we're working here today, I can actually just lay that pant leg directly across the press.
It's awesome.
Sinks right down into the pillow. So quick and easy.
Great.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's one concept. And then as we think about the trending pieces that we've seen here today, I start to think a little bit about print location and how can we really bring print location to life. And so let me grab this sample and hold it up in front of the camera here. This one we pre-decorated as well, but I'm going to print one for you to show you how. This piece is awesome.
So that actually now curves around the collar. So it is, it's sitting great on that Champion product and just, yeah, I like it. Sweet. It's sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is sweet. Right.
Yeah.
And so the challenge here, right, is we want this subtle, understated decoration that, again, really lets the piece speak in this case. But a lot of times when you try to execute that, it's delicate designs, but it's also placement that's near a seam. And so I want to give you the technique to decorate near seam structure of any garment, whether that's next to the collar, as we saw there. I have another sample I'll show you that's right on the pocket of the hoodie here in a moment. But the one we're going to print live today is this garment, and we're going to show you how to print the side of it. So this piece, do you want to speak to it a bit?
That one is, oh boy, I have to get my notes on that one.
It's the alternative.
Oh, it's the alternative. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all right.
And that's a subtle crop. And just great colorways. Alternative really gives you that boutique styling. And, you know, going back to the kind of the subtle logoing with all these high fashion products coming into our channel and, you know, again, huge color offerings, different looks, is people want to go more subtle. They don't want the big billboard. I mean, the billboard's great, and we'll look at some of those, but sometimes, you know, a high fashion piece, you want to, you know, be more subtle with it. So
yeah, I agree. And so our interpretation in this graphic is we're going tonal again, but we are going to get a little subtle pop out of it with a metallic base transfer. And so it almost looks like heat press foil. And we've picked a very script-like or whimsical type of font. And then when I look at this piece, there's a couple places where I think that decoration would look cool. I think certainly vertical down the back, but I think an even cooler location is right next to this seam on the side of the garment.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, and so again, there's seam structure, right? And so that can create, I want you to understand this, that can create two issues, the seam can. One is it can create a pressure issue, which basically means my heat transfer itself doesn't get enough pressure. And so that becomes a durability issue when my client gets the garment and launders it. And then secondly, it can become just a quality issue, especially as you start to deal with a little bit more synthetic fabrics in your blanks. If you put too much pressure on this raised seam, sometimes you see those seams or the collar gloss up. And that's why it's really important to use the pillow, to use interchangeable attachments to be able to get to these print locations. And so in this case, I'm going to get straight to the side print location just by splitting that onto the press, making sure I have some good context of what's the front and the back. Yeah. Okay. So always remember where your tag is. Let's go ahead and preheat this.
Nice.
And this heat transfer, yes, you can cut it yourself and buy it by roll on a vinyl cutter if you want to just create some personalization. But you can also order this pre-cut and just ready to position in heat press. And that's how a lot of people do it. All right. So I'll give you a tip. This is why we love these, right? Because there's always something wrong and you learn from it. And so you want to have your garment and you want to measure it before you create the size of your design. And so this design is way too big for the location I want to hit on this garment. So we're not wild and free anymore. We're just going to be free today. You'll still get the same technique, but there's a tip here. Just make sure you're measuring your print location before you position. So in this case, you have the transfer. I'm going to position it right next to the seam down the side. And then we're going to go ahead and lock the heat press down for the application.
That's great. No, and these are always the exciting times. So that machine there will count down for you because you already reset it.
Yeah, the time, the temperature, and the pressure you just set the machine for. Once it does finish the countdown, it automatically opens for you as well. On cold peel materials, I kind of like to catch the handle so it doesn't start to lift the carrier when it opens, unless you just use a cover sheet. And one of my favorite little tips here is on a cold peel material. How do you cool it down quicker? Well, pretty simple, right? You just hold it to the wall, pull some of the heat out of it.
Wow.
So I've
That's
been
a
in the
great pro tip.
Yeah, just something quick and easy if you want to print one and get it out the door and not have to wait. I know a lot of larger shops that do high volume that run air machines. They actually run an extra air line right beside their press, and they just shoot the transfer with compressed air to cool it down immediately and peel the backing. So all different ways to speed up efficiency.
Wow.
All right. And
So
so once
cool.
it's been cooled, I'm just going to grab the corner of it, and then we're going to release it.
That is so cool.
So quick and easy. But when we look at the completed piece, you know, I think it's a very tasteful and subtle design on the side of there that somebody would want to wear on their garment.
That is fantastic. I love the metallic too. Because I mean, that's the beauty of transfers. I mean, you can really dive into all the selections out there. And, you know, when you get these trendy items, you can dive in, look at the transfer capability and match that up with the product.
Yeah, and I love that. And just to take another level of metallic, and so I love this piece when it came in the tie-dye effect. And here we've chosen a decoration with a metallic design right on the pocket with a monogram. So
that
again,
is great. And again, subtle down in the left part of the pocket.
Yeah, it's simple, easy branding. So you don't have to complicate it. And the other nice thing is, from an economic standpoint, it's a lot less expensive to buy a small design typically than a larger design. So that plays into your profit as an apparel decorator as well.
Nice.
All right.
We're stripping down the walls.
We are. We're gonna be bare by the time we go here. So
I love it. What do you have set up next? Is it really concentrating on printing on pattern?
Yeah. So I've actually kind of a rapid fire here where we're going to decorate 4 items with this pattern trend. And so the first item is really the patterned shirt and how to approach that. So this is from LAT.
LAT has done a tremendous job. They just, you know, this is one that the minute it came in, it sold out, and we have another turn going. But they've really stepped it up in this category. And, you know, at first, anything new, right? People are hesitant, like, oh my God, that's an animal print. Where do I put my logo there? And so this is why I so enjoy this show is we, you know, take the myths that are out there. And Josh, you figure it out, you know, right there with that machine. So.
Well, yeah, and I think that's part of it, right? And so there's a couple things going on here. One is we want to talk about how we decorate the pattern. The pattern isn't going to bleed through your print unless it's sublimated, okay? So when it's sublimated, that's when we need to watch out. Usually you see that on 100% polyester items. We don't have to worry about it here. But there's also another challenge here is a lot of these garments, you're seeing a lot more tailored of a fit, slimmer cut, especially we get into youth and smaller sizes. And so you'll notice I swapped out my attachment in this case. And so I went from that big 16 by 20 inch size, which is great for full shirts and some of the things we've been doing, down to an 11 inch wide by 15 inch long. And so that will allow me to still move at a great pace of production, be able to split that garment on, drape the collar right off of the edge, and then let me grab a cover sheet here again because I want to be careful. I don't want this pattern transferring to my heater. I'm going to do a preheat. And now you're going to get your first look at the latest heat transfer on the market, applied live. That's the Ultra Color Max Direct-To-Film heat transfer. And so in this case, we've done this lightning bolt pattern, and you can see all of these different colors on one transfer sheet, as well as a lot of thin lines and detail. And so I'm just going to position that onto our press. What I love about this product is it's 290 degrees, it's 12 to 15 seconds, and it's a hot peel.
Nice. So what's the key advantage to now this DTF, direct to film?
Yeah, so direct to film, some of the big advantages are unlimited color. So you don't have to worry about number of colors in your client's logo anymore. Mm-hmm. The other big advantage is really fine detail. I don't like to say unlimited detail because at some point you can break it, but a lot of corporate logos and even fashion logos have really fine lines and small detail. So you can achieve that in this heat transfer with no outline around it. So no halo or kind of compromising your artwork. And then honestly, it just feels so soft when it's applied. And so I think
that is a nice new technique. And I mean, I'm sure people noticed how quick you peeled that off. I mean, the clamshell came up, you peeled it, here we are. So
yeah, having the hot peel is critical when you want to be quick and right at the heat press. The cold peel is awesome, and we give you some techniques, but the hot peel just really keeps things moving along.
Nice.
Yeah, and so that's an interpretation of creating a basic print onto a pattern. And so sticking with basic colors, even though you can vary the colors, again, we want the pattern to be able to still show through and really not create a confusion with your eye where you can't really read, or the design or the text isn't legible if you're dealing with text. But then I also have a couple tips on how to incorporate patterns into your print to decorate one of your other hot trending items, which is this fleece garment from MV Sport.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we can rotate our attachments on this press. So I'm just going to rotate this 90 degrees. Now I'll split this fleece open, and I'll show you one more interpretation with a direct-to-film transfer before I do my big close.
We love the big closes. Always saving the best.
So make sure
by switching those palettes, it increases speed, obviously, as well, but it holds the garment correct. So you can line it up.
Yeah, you don't have to fumble with the pillow. I mean, the pillows are great, but they do take a little bit longer than just having the right attachment and the right machine for the job. Really, we're trying to get rid of any seams and isolate the print area. And so in this case, another direct-to-film Ultra Color Max transfer. And so you can really see we've incorporated pattern into the print. You see this trending a lot. And then we also have the super fine text and detail in there that applies accurately in a single step.
And it's all right there to just lay down on this fashion product, and then you go for it. I mean, and you have color in there, the fine print, and that's amazing.
Yeah, I like to say any amount of colors, any amount of detail, any location on the garment, and pretty much any item you can dream of decorating. You can do it quick and easy with Ultra Color Max.
Wow.
So quick, easy, done.
That is sweet. I mean,
it just
use
feels
the other
so
word.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I like it. That's hanging in a retail store right now.
Yep. So, yeah, it's awesome. All right, ready for the big close?
Oh, we're ready.
All right, I feel like I've already had it with Ultra Color Max. Some of you are like, wow, that blew my mind, and I need that transfer right now. The next one I want to show you, though, this one always gets the most engagement and views when we show videos of this product, and it's a heat transfer foil. And I think the cool thing about this product is this two-step process. So we're going to use this MB Sport garment again, and I'll load it on the same way I did the last piece, just doing a different color here. Again, making sure it's straight. We're going to do a preheat. And when you're working with foil, usually people screen print foil, but you don't have to. You can do foil at the heat press in low to mid-sized quantities where you don't have to set up the screen print it. This is actually an adhesive transfer. And so you can buy this as a roll and cut it on your vinyl cutter, or you can buy it pre-done from STAHLS or from Transfer Express. You can just position that down. And in this case, what I want to do is I don't want to blow the adhesive through the garment because that's going to create pinholes that are going to show up in my foil. And so this background layer applies at a very light pressure, okay? So you're just going to give it a few seconds at a very light pressure, about 5 seconds, okay? Then I just need to let it rest for a few seconds. Pretty hot to the touch there, so I want it to be warm. You can even kind of just like fan it while it's on the press. And then I'm going to grab the corner and peeling it corner to corner. Try not to stretch it out, right? And all that stays behind is the adhesive, right? And so this should be nice and clean if you've applied it correctly. Now, if you've never used heat transfer foil before, it comes in a roll. I've already cut this to a sheet to save us some time, and we're going to put this leopard foil print. So you can get foil in rainbow and leopard and prismatic effects, and so just a really cool thing. And we position it onto our print, just making sure it covers the entire print. Now we're going to do a firm pressure.
Okay.
And we're going to press it for more than 3 seconds. I wish it was that quick. I forgot to change my time. So that's all right. We just let it go and we lock it straight back down.
Nice.
And we'll let this count down.
I mean, I'm anticipating. I haven't seen this. So.
Yeah, this one's great. Again, foil is a cold peel. That's why I caught the handle of my press so it doesn't like lift it and ruin my print. And then I like to kind of just fold the sleeves over to wrap up my good project as I get ready to open the finished result here. And then we're going to let this cool down. And so if I'm doing a bunch of these, I'm throwing them all to the side and letting it cool completely down. If I'm doing one of these, I'm just laying it against the table, against the wall. But let's go ahead and let that cool. I don't like to move that one around a lot because if you accidentally lift it, it's going to ruin your print. So you want to be really careful when you're working with foil. It is a delicate product.
Nice.
Good.
So as people, you see these machines, you make it look so easy. Where can they go to start researching the equipment you're using? And then especially like the new DTF, to do some follow-up and really look into that. Where can they go to research?
Yeah, so they can go to stahls.com or they can go to our YouTube channel, which is STAHLS TV, to get education that they need. They can certainly subscribe to the Decoration Myth series on S&S Activewear YouTube because I think that's where we conquer and really give you the real story, not the marketing story behind all these products. But one thing I would like to say, because people are going to be really interested in direct-to-film, is where we sit today, we are in the very first generation of the machine. Eventually, this will be a technology that I think a lot of decorators will want to invest in and print in-house. We've put over a year's work in developing our specific formula to create Ultracolor Max, which is the product we sell as a transfer. At STAHLS, we are not selling the machine as of this moment. We want to prove our formula internally, make sure that we're not having to replace print heads. There is kind of a science and a technical ability that you have to run this printer in-house. And so that's why we came up with the transfer product. We're like, hey, people can access this product. We've invested a ton of R&D. We're willing to invest money to print transfers for people. And once we really perfect the solution, yes, we will make it available for people to bring it in-house. But just be careful about a lot of the machines are on the market, or what I like to call Frankenstein's machines, when we're piecing everything together and you kind of get what you get there. So a word of caution there.
No, we appreciate that.
All right. So if we're printing at a live event, this is the part where I like to engage with the audience, and I have them peel this back. And so we won't be able to do that here today, but I'll peel it back for you, and you can see.
Wow.
We get the negative image here, right? And then we get our completed result, fine detail, great effect.
You never disappoint the grand finale. I mean, that is a great piece.
Yeah, I think the main thing is, look, there's trending garments, and you guys do a phenomenal job with bringing those to decorators and distributors every season. But there's also a tasteful way to decorate these garments, and really really thinking, I guess, about your decoration and trying to do the best thing you possibly can do for the brand that you're selling to. That's what's going to separate some of these decorators from the next, having the right equipment, the right know-how, and really the creative thought behind the piece. And so that's really what I want to stress today.
I love it. Well, I so appreciate it. And I appreciate everybody tuning in, all the great products that you've seen. They're available. You can go view them in our virtual experience. All the brands are here. They have a virtual booth. They would love to answer all your questions. And thanks for joining. And Josh, thank you as always. It's such a fantastic job. So.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me. And if anybody has any questions, we'll make sure we drop my email in the comments. You can always reach out and I can connect you to one of our territory managers in your region.
Fantastic. Let's go 2022.
All right, let's go. Thanks, Stephan.
Right.
Appreciate it.
Take care. Hey, thanks for joining us on this episode of Decoration Mess. For more information on any of the products that you've seen today, check out the links in the description below. And if you enjoyed any part of the video, give us a like as well. See you next time.